Good evening, and welcome to the Mingles of Evo Life. Thanks for those of you that are connecting tonight with me. Hope you had a beautiful St. Valentine's Day yesterday, okay? Wherever you are and with whomever you decided to celebrate, okay? Or if you decided to even stay home, okay? So thanks for joining me, and tonight took me longer to give the video in Spanish, so I think in English it's a little bit shorter, okay? But it's the same material. So I'm gonna start by saying that last week I promised that I would come today and speak about how to do shadow work, because in the past like 5 videos we've been identifying from the purposes of our soul, how to identify that, and how to identify our inner wounding and inner child wounds, right? And how to work with those, to heal those, and the importance there is in us identifying them and working on them, okay? And today I promised I would come and give you another type of work you can do in your process of healing, and that is how to practice shadow work. And I wanted to come and address this because a lot of people have asked me to, and I've spoken about this before, perhaps in a different way, but tonight I'm going to explain more in depth what is shadow work about, okay, and how to do it. And your shadow profoundly affects your behavior and life experiences, okay? It becomes the blockages that limit us from achieving our true heart's desires. So this is why it is so important, because this is the root cause, okay, of all of our demises and of us living healthy lives and lives with well-being in general, okay? So what is the shadow? First, before all, I want to say that our shadow is not only a negative thing, like it sounds, right? It sounds like something very dark, and it has to do with our dark side. But our shadow also contains positive qualities. So it doesn't have only and exclusively a negative aspect to it, okay? And I'm going to start by defining it as Carl Jung defined it in Western psychology, okay? Western psychology, and he was a very famous psychiatrist, actually, that was the one that was attributed introducing the shadow. According to Carl Jung, our shadow is the part of our personality that we're unconscious about. It develops during childhood as a byproduct from certain interactions we have with our family or immediate caregivers, okay? It is our disowned and neglected parts, and practicing shadow work supports us into integrating these disowned parts from the knowledge of becoming aware of them, right? Becoming aware of them, and from understanding how and why we developed them in the first place. And I want to say that all parents, no matter who we are, okay, project their beliefs and their understanding of life and the world onto their children, and the shadow is born. This is according to Carl Jung, okay? Remember, and I'm not signaling here, no one, remember, so did their parents to them, okay? So it's not to blame no one. And a good example of this would be, let's say that you are a sensitive little boy in your natural way of being, and your parent or caretaker tells you, you're always so emotional. Stop crying. You cry like a little girl. Or this may be even a girl, right? Sometimes we refer to as in Spanish, we use Magdalena, Mary Magdalene, to refer when a girl is crying a lot, okay? So these are all respective ways of transmitting this communication to the child, but we all do it, okay? We all do it. The problem is that as soon as the parent projects these beliefs and perspectives onto the child, it creates an inner conflict and an imbalance, because the child realizes that his emotional, sensitive side is not being accepted by his parents. And so, what does the child do, right, when he sees that the parent, who is so important to him and whom he wants to be accepted by, does, right? So the child says and thinks in his mind, okay, so he pairs up crying or showing my emotions is something I shouldn't do. Okay? The little boy will learn how to repress their sensitivities, although this is who he really is. And maybe and perhaps and most probably and surely showing sensitivity and letting ourselves and our body express our emotion is the healthy way of dealing with emotions. Because emotions were never meant to be kept inside. They are vibrations that are meant to be purged out of the body. Okay, so make a big star there, a big note, okay, mental note. So according to Jung, this day is when the shadow is born. And then, as soon as the little boy learns to repress his sensitive side, he's going to keep on doing this throughout his life, depending on the feedback of the outside world or environment, and what the projections are onto him. Okay, so as he goes on repressing and not accepting certain parts of himself throughout his life, these energies can only grow, because energy can only grow, okay? And it will keep growing and growing. So those vibrations and emotions that are being repressed will not diminish with time. Since energy and vibration behaves in an expansive manner, they will expand. And then shadow works has existed, I want to say, as far beyond Carl Jung's mainstream Western perception was introduced, okay? And was worked on and brought to us by renowned shamans, the shamans who were expert healers and shadow connoisseurs, okay? So these were the first ones to introduce shadow work, really. It wasn't Carl Jung. So I have to explain then what, for the shaman perspective and the spiritual, not the psychological explanation of shadow work only, but the spiritual explanation of it and perspective of it. It's much deeper, goes much deeper. And it goes in this way. The shadow is any part of you that you do not see, acknowledge, or accept in yourself. Meaning that your shadow is not just only something that exists in your personality and psyche, right? Like in the Carl Jung version or definition of it. Your shadow is a multifaceted and facets of it can exist outside of the mind, and in your emotions and or soul. It's the same thing, okay? Or our energetic body. They are all the same. So not only in our psyche, but also in our emotional body, in our energetic body. From this perspective, it's taken into consideration for shadow work. For healing purposes, understanding this difference between these two perspectives, the Jung and the shamanic one, is crucial because I have always said that if we truly want to heal, we got to take ourselves out of focusing on our mind and dive into our feelings and emotions. We can't think our feelings. Feelings are never thought, although some people do process them in that way. And that's an incorrect way of processing feeling, because feelings are meant to be felt, not thought about, okay? So it is important that we feel them and that we purge them, especially for those that are negative emotions or have a negative vibration to them, okay? Negative energy to them. So going back to our little boy's example, when we repress emotions, we repress our natural energy flow in our energy centers or chakras, okay? Which are in our body, causing a blockage, which then in turn causes a disconnection from our soul or from who we truly are, because our emotions and feelings are our purest part, and it is who we truly are. It composes our soul. So when we are neglecting them and repressing them, what we're doing is we're neglecting our soul and our own selves. So we are neglecting our own selves. We're not willing to take a deep look at who we truly are. Okay? So I started this video saying that our shadows are not only negative, but they are also positive neglected aspects that are in our example of the little boy, right? Of the little sensitive boy that I just gave. It is well depicted there, because sensitivity in its proper balance is a beautiful virtue to cultivate for any human being. So why the heck would we want to block it, right? Mostly the same virtues, and I'm going to say this, make a star here, ding ding, that we are blocking, when we are blocking the emotions, our emotional aspects, right? Or our sensitivities, is where also our gifts and talents that will take our lives to quantum levels and to our highest potential are. So we're also blocking our gifts and talents. We're not conscious of this, okay? But we're going to see today. I'm going to explain. So then from here on, we live life in disconnection and unaware of who we truly are. And given that energy cannot be destroyed and that the soul never dies, another difference between the two perspectives, the Carl Jung and the shamanic one, is that in the spiritual perspective or the shamanic, your shadow can also come from past lives and not only from your current childhood experience. Okay? So it is relevant to the healing process to find out whether if the specific shadow aspects we're wanting to work on come from this childhood or from a past life. Because if we can't identify from where it is coming, we will be missing pieces of it and we won't be able to integrate it to ourselves. In other words, to heal properly, we have to go back to the memories and emotionally relieve events so we can purge the stuck, blocked energy vibration. But if we are unaware of when the original wound originated, we won't be able to fully understand them and be able to purge them, to feel them, to experience them again, okay? So, if you suspect you may have blocked energy from a past life, you may consider it suitable to undergo a past life regression. And a past life regression is a therapy that is given by psychiatrists trained, right, in the matter. A lot of psychiatrists do give this. Also psychiatrists and psychologists, they both work in past life regressions, okay? And they do it also, we can see, to heal phobias, because as we know, a lot of phobias come from sometimes, right, from past traumas, from past lives. So what the process does is through hypnotherapy, right, hypnosis, the psychiatrist or the professional takes the person back to the moment that the incident that caused the trauma or the wound, right, the fear in that person occurred. And when we relive the moment, because we are aware, we are in hypnosis, under hypnosis, but we are aware of what's happening. So we relive the incident again, and we live what is called a catharsis, which we feel like a person that has a phobia to swimming, for example, going into water, and they don't know why they have this. So the professional takes the person back to that moment, and the person relives that moment when he was probably drowning, okay? And so by reliving the moment and experiencing and fully feeling and letting the body relive those energies, those emotions that he felt, and the fear that he felt, and the phobia, he's able to release that energy, that vibration from the body, and the person is healed. So it's the same thing with past life wounds that we carry, that we are unaware that vibration is stuck there. And since we are energy and our soul is made out of pure energy, right? So it is an energy that is stuck in time, and the soul hasn't been able to release it from its vibrational frequency. So when the person lives that moment again, He's able to understand how it happened. Why is it that I have this trauma right now? And from that place of understanding and clarity, right, we are able to heal. We are able to heal it. And so you may want to try this if you suspect that you have any type of past life trauma. Okay? In previous videos, we've been addressing how to identify those core wounds. And I'm gonna link them here so that you can watch them. If you haven't, you can go back and watch them so that you can understand this video of today's video, okay? And in the last specific one, last one before this one, I spoke about how to start to heal them. What can we do to heal them? And I spoke in that video about inner child work. And today, I'm gonna be speaking and addressing the shadow work. Now that we've spoken what the shadow is, how to understand it, okay? The importance of it is, I don't have to stress more how important it is of becoming aware of our shadows. How important this is to human life. It is an imperative thing. Okay? And then, after becoming aware, to work on them and healing them and accepting the shadow as a part, an intricate part of ourselves. This is all if we so want to have good health and well-being in all aspects of life, okay? And to live our life to our fullest potential. Because somebody may choose, as weird as it sounds, we all have at some point chosen not to handle it in this way, okay? And I must say that healing does not happen in a one-shot deal way, okay? It happens in layers. So it takes time, work, and patience as you peel away every layer and layer after layer, right, of each wound that you carry. The thing that I can promise you is that it's going to be the best investment you can do on yourself. And at the moment that you start doing it, because it is an act of love, of self-love, truly, you start to reap blessings in your life immediately. Immediately. So let's start to see the 5 steps that I'm going to share today about how to practice shadow work. Okay? And I must stress that the goal of shadow work is the integration of all these abandoned parts of ourselves into ourselves as one. Okay? The more we embrace and accept our shadow, the less its undealt low vibrational frequencies will affect our life. This is so true. And the first step is acceptance. Acceptance. Because the shadow was born out of lack of acceptance of our parents, mostly, or from a past life, right? So the opposite energy to that low energy, or the antidote and medicine, is self-acceptance. So please do not antagonize the shadow. Accept yourself with all your parts, great, good, bad, ugly, because they are all parts of you. This first step requires that you treat yourself with a lot of self-love and compassion, knowing that learned behaviors were passed down to you when a child or a past life, and you were totally unaware of it. So step number 2 is observation without judgment. Do not judge yourself, right? Because judgment is a form of non-acceptance of you, who you are. So remember, you didn't have the knowledge nor the tools to deal with it. If we start criticizing ourselves for having any shadow aspect, we're not contributing to the work and progress we are trying to make. So shut down the inner critic in you. This is very important because we tend to criticize so much ourselves. Then step number 3 is past life regression. And for this one, as I said, if we're not willing to go to the psychiatrist and have a past life regression session or sessions, there are free of charge ways that we can address this, and we are able to know, right, to identify our shadow. And through astrology is a great tool. So you can go to a free astrology website like Cafe Astrology or grupovenus.com. They all offer past life reports free of charge. So also what we can do when we go to these sites, we can do ask for our birth charts, natal charts, and we can look for the south node placement. Remember, I spoke in one of the past videos that I'm gonna link here so that you have them all. I spoke about the north node, and I spoke a little bit about the south node also, but mostly this time, to know about past life, we have to go to our south node placement, because south node is all about our past life lessons and experiences. So there we're gonna see if this wounding comes from this current lifetime or perhaps from a past life, okay? And it's important to know from where it came so that we can address it correctly and fully. So number 4 is to do a childhood review. So I want you to practice journaling, a journaling exercise, to spot aspects of your shadow pertaining to your current life, okay? Your current childhood. You can go back to our previous video that I'm gonna link again, where you can check out which of those core wounds depicted there, because we were about 3 or 4 videos, okay? And which of those resonate with you. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. Write them down and journal them down. Was I completely and absolutely accepted as a child by those around me? Especially mother, father, and primary caregivers, okay? The second question, what was expected of me? What was expected of me when I was small, obviously, from these same people, okay? What was expected of me? And third, what behaviors and emotions were judged or criticized by my parents? when you have these written down, once you are aware of your shadow aspects, I want you to say, I want to heal, bring light, and integrate these shadow aspects that I have just written about in my journal. So this is your intention. You put intention to your purpose of working in yourself. And I want you to go back and look for our videos, our Evo Life videos about the root chakra, explaining what the root chakra is all about. Okay? Because this chakra, this energy center, is the energy center where these initial paternal energies are stored. So I want you to follow all the instructions given there in this video that I'm going to link again. And where I speak about practicing like things like grounding that are good to work with, certain foods that benefit our root chakra, sound therapy videos, right? Practicing sound therapy, healing and balancing meditation videos. So you go and do everything I explained in that chakra, in that root chakra video that I did, and that I'm gonna link. Okay, do everything. Try to practice all those things that I give there, because they're gonna help you heal that inner child, those inner child wounds. And then 5, but not least, last and not least, retrieve your gifts. And what do I mean by this? Okay, I previously said that the shadow isn't only about negative aspects, and how it also is where our gifts and talents are located. And why I say this? Because from our mess, we make our message. From our mess, we make our message. Yes, healing our shadow aspects gives us the opportunity to discover these untapped gifts and talents. So we can do it through journaling and answering this first question that I'm going to give you. How to discover, right? Now these questions are, I'm going to give you the questions that you should do to yourself to help you discover those talents, okay, and those hidden gifts. And the first question is, if I weren't afraid, what would I do with my life? Or in other words, what are things that you haven't dared to do that you would like to do? And perhaps you have been feeling afraid and limited to doing them. Okay? And this is going to help a lot to retrieve those talents. Make sure you write all this down, you journal. And then another way to retrieve our gifts and talents is through practicing shamanic journeying. Shamanic journeying, which are guided meditations that will take you on a journey of self-discovery and will help you to retrieve information about your gifts and talents. You can physically go to a shaman to guide you through that. But if you can't do that, there are a lot of YouTube tracks that will help you with shamanic journeying that can be very, very useful. As I've always said, right now we live in times that we have a lot of tools that we can use that our parents, for example, didn't have to do this work, okay? This much needed work. So we can go to YouTube, and it's free there, and you put in your browser shamanic journeys, okay? And you're gonna see shadow work, shamanic journeying, and you are gonna be able through these meditations and help that you're gonna receive to extract information about yourself, okay? Also, in the last video, one of the last videos, I talk about how, actually it was about 5 videos back, previous to this one, how to identify the purposes of our soul. I spoke about that. And there I spoke about the North Node in our astrology chart. Previously, I spoke about the South Node, which has to do with our past life, right? But to find our talents in this current life and to know the lessons that our soul chose and the ones that we need to align with during this lifetime, it is the North Node placement, the one we have to take a look at that, okay? When we study our North Nodes, we're gonna have clarity of a lot of things that obviously have happened in our life, in this lifetime, and truly that if we would have known before, we would have been better informed and would have done things maybe perhaps different, in a different way. So this is gonna help us retrieve the information of those talents, those hidden talents, and that the mission of the soul during this lifetime. So with this information, I leave you tonight, hoping this has helped you in any way, okay? Asking you to please give it a like and share it so that many other people can benefit from it. Also asking you to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, sending you love and light, and hoping to see you here next week in the Mingles of Evo Life. So thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks.